you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Chris Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. It's the one there, ladies and gentlemen, makes official. Welcome to nearly 20 years of the Chris Voss Show, nearly 3,000 episodes, and all the wonderful stuff that we're up to. We are the oldest living broadcast out of our podcast, not broadcast, because there are radio that's older than us. The oldest living podcast is still puts out and publishes 1 to 2 shows every day. What's going on, man? With Monday, I can't learn to speak already. I don't know. I'm probably having a brain hemorrhage at the same time, but that's most podcasts, right? Anyway, we have an amazing young man we're going to get into it with, but please support the show. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places on the internet. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author is brought to you by Majestic Authors Media, specializing in strategic marketing and publishing to help authors reach their ideal audience and maximize their book success, turning powerful messages into global impact, one story at a time. Today, we have an author on the show. His book is entitled Catholic Positive Energy by George Goodsaid and a designation of M.A. What does that stand for, George, M.A.?
I have a Master's of Arts degree in Catholic theology.
Oh, a master's in it. So you know your Catholicism. You're Catholic. You're Catholic.
Yes, I do. I'm not. Don't make me out to be a scholar, but I certainly know a thing or two.
All right, we're going to call the Pope in if you get these answers wrong.
All right.
We're going to get into him. We're going to talk to him about his insights and everything else. George was born and raised in Southern California. What a beautiful place. Me too. He is a Catholic faith advocate dedicated to spreading hope, healing, and encouragement. What a wonderful thing. Drawing from his own experiences with hardship, he promotes resilience, forgiveness, gratitude, and transformative powers of God's love through Catholic Positive Energy. That's the name of his YouTube, too. I should interject here, where he shares uplifting messages through writing, speaking, and online broadcasts. He lives in Menifree, California, inspiring others to live with faith, dignity, and positivity. Welcome to the show, George. How are you, sir?
Doing great, Chris. Great to be here.
It's great to have you as well. Give us .coms, websites, YouTubes, wherever you want people to find out more about you.
I have a Facebook and YouTube channel also titled Catholic Positive Energy, like my book, and my website is georgegoodsaid.com.
So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside this book?
This is a nice short book. I just self-published this last October of 2025. Talks a little bit about my backstory, just through some difficult upbringings, as well as trying to find God through redemption and bringing about positive energy in the world, utilizing the Catholic faith, which is what I always do on my YouTube channel.
I think it's wonderful what you're doing. You're spreading a positive message. The word positive is in your titles of stuff. And why is it important you write a book like this as opposed to maybe a book entitled Catholic Negative Energy?
I wanted to really emphasize positive energy on this, Chris. Oh. And I'll just say this. A couple years ago, I met this really amazing friend who lives in Phoenix. We met on Facebook. And she was someone who had this very positive page that actually had the words positive energy. This person was not a Catholic, really amazing friend. And this was someone who inspired me about 7 years ago to eventually be on this road of positive energy I'm on now. And I just wanted to obviously be able to hopefully create my own channel and community and write a book about positive energy, but I wanted to put a Catholic spin on it.
Oh, a Catholic spin on it. And how long have you been involved with the Catholic Church? Did you grow up in it? Did you discover it late in life?
I was born and raised Catholic, but I eventually stopped going to church when I was about 9 years old, did my own thing for a while, and eventually I came back to the Catholic Church when I was about 19, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 39 now.
Oh, wow.
And through that time, as I came back, I met some really amazing friends who have really tried to help me grow in my faith, because sometimes when you're a kid, things don't always stick with you, and as you get older, sometimes you break off and do other things. But I've been back, and I'm also a substitute teacher at a Catholic school, which I love very much, about to start my second year. And I've had my channel for 6 years now, and I'm definitely trying to bring about a movement of positive change, because I often say this on my channel. A lot of people believe that preaching is just for Catholic priests or Catholic nuns or the Pope. But I try to emphasize it's also for the laity. It's also for regular people who are also members of the church as well.
Positive message. I think it's great that someone's working hard to try and influence the world and raise the positivity resonance spectrum, whatever you want to call it, because we need more of that. We need people to maybe complain a little bit less. Complaining has its place in certain degrees, but just seems like everybody plays victim now and blames everybody for their problems, and they don't really take self-accountability. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of positivity in the world.
Really? I never noticed any of that. I'm just kidding.
You haven't been on Twitter, have you?
I realize that, Chris. And yes, this is why one of the reasons I try to use the style that I use. I was also very highly inspired by here's someone I like to call the king of positive energy, the late Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yeah. Boy, we were just talking about him, I think, yesterday, or it would have been last week, Friday or Thursday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was someone who I often credit as the king of positive energy. And things that he has done, or my friend in Arizona, as I mentioned previously, I feel that we don't always have enough happy, positive, inspirational people in the world who are best known for being loving, kind, and sincere, especially not just when they're out in the public platforms like this, but also how they live their lives. That's something I try to be. And of course, I'm not sinless like Jesus, but I certainly try to always follow him on my path.
Yeah. It's a wonderful thing you're doing there. And you've been doing the YouTube channel for 6 years now, I think you said?
That's right.
And then what do you usually talk about over there for people who tune in? What's kind of the rap that you're putting down over there?
Normally, like I said, I'll have certain broadcasts. I usually have this little Chinese waterfall in the camera shot with me. I like to also call that my symbol. I like to call that the central command center of Catholic positive energy, just something I invented. And I'll have meditation and prayer. Usually the meditation will be like, everything's quiet, you just listen to the waterfall, and I just try to engage in these deep breath exercises. I always tell my audience, this is how we're going to try to get rid of negative energy. We're going to throw it away. Just like when we throw trash, we don't think about it. We don't try to hold on to it or get it back. We throw away all traumas, and no matter how big or small. And after I finish that half, I'll usually either pray the rosary or Chaplet of Divine Mercy. And in every other broadcast, like I said, I've been reading entire sections from the Catechism of the Catholic Church, because I feel that even a lot of Catholics, the Catechism's only been around since 1992. And this is something I want to try to strongly talk about on my channel, so more Catholics, no matter how young or old, will know about it. And I also often try to preach on certain other important things going on in the Catholic world.
What'd you call it? The Catechism?
Catechism of the
Catechism? What is that for people who don't know?
It is a compendium of all church teaching. It was published by our, at the time, future Pope, who's now a previous one, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, who we now known as previously Pope Benedict XVI, well as Pope before him, Pope John Paul. It has 2,865 paragraphs about all things related to Catholic teaching.
Wow. And so is it like an index or a definition, or kind of like a encyclopedia maybe or something? maybe?
You could call it an encyclopedia, but yeah, little paragraphs talking about all things related to the church, about, papacy, Jesus, Mary, the saints, and other important topics related to church teaching.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, we had somebody on the show. They had a book called Jesus and Mr. Rogers. If they live next door or something like that. Let me see if I can. Nifty
Really?
Neighbors.
I've never heard of that before. I want to read that one.
Yeah, it's called Nifty Neighbors, Mr. Rogers and Jesus Christ by Tracy Emmerich. And we interviewed her, and she basically wrote a book that's she wrote a book where basically Jesus and, like you say, Mr. Rogers are super positive people, and basically those are your neighbors. And she writes like a non-fictional fiction or something, historical fiction maybe.
That sounds like a wonderful book.
Yeah. And he talks a little bit about entrepreneurs in there. And yeah, I remember. Yeah, did you see the Mr. Rogers biopic about his life?
I haven't seen that one, but I did see the one where Tom Hanks played him. That was something that rekindled my love for Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yeah. If you get a chance, check out the documentary they did on him. I took my mom to it like 5 or 6 years ago. Really? I think it was before COVID, but it was somewhere in there. I still have the ticket, but it's very moving, and it's a beautiful documentary about him. And that guy wasn't faking it on TV. He wasn't faking being kind and nice and a decent human being. He lived it. And there's some people that pretend to be nice on in public, and then behind the scenes you find out they're horrible. But
I try not to be that myself, but yes, I would like to think of the late great Mr. Rogers as a saint.
It's a beautiful documentary. I encourage everyone to go watch it. And boy, he sure sets a standard that most of us need to really work towards. So you write this book. What are some things in the book that you talk about, or some of your favorite parts of it that kind of stand out that you feel people really like?
There's only 5 chapters in the book. It's only 39 pages, so it's an easy read. I tried to make it longer, but you could read it in a day. I'll just name the chapters here. Chapter 1, where I talked about a little bit about my backstory. It's called It All Starts Here. And I talk about, and I try to relate to anyone else reading. And my book, it's for everybody, but I want to be able to try to especially relate to people who have experienced some kind of, childhood traumas like I have, or I was often bullied a lot when I was a kid, and the things weren't always positive. I never even really used the words positive energy as a kid, but definitely do now.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, I also like to talk about how we all need positive role models. I was telling you about my dear friend in Phoenix who inspired me as well. And just to name other ones, I've also had a lot of amazing folks. There's this amazing organization down in the San Diego area. They're called Catholic Answers, where they provide answers to anybody who has questions about the Catholic faith. Very great friends of mine. They've also been very important in my journey, as well as why we need to lift people up. See, here's a catchphrase I always say when I close my broadcasts, Chris. And I came up with this all by myself. I hope nobody ever rips it off. I always like to say, you're a child of God. Dignification is better than criticism. Live life to the fullest. I often like to stress the importance of dignifying people, because I was criticized a lot when I was a kid over basically everything, and I didn't always often feel like I was being dignified. So that's why I try to emphasize that in my book and on my channel, why we need to try to lift people up rather than tearing them down.
Yeah, I love that. You've taken something bad that happened to you, and you've turned into something good, and you're sharing the message. And a lot of people, sometimes when they're treated poorly like that, they end up angry and bitter, and sometimes they just become what assaulted them, and they just become that person and go make the world more miserable. But you've done something great with what you're doing, and you're trying to make the world a better place. You're trying to lift things. And
absolutely. And I have experienced some of those other unpleasant moments. Like I said, I wasn't always the positive person I try to be. But yes, I'm trying to help people who have been through what I have, and hopefully not try to make it worse. I try to make it better. And I also want to try to make a positive impact in the world like Mr. Rogers did.
Yeah. What a great...
Sometimes I wear cardigan sweaters when I'm at my school job, but Not during the summer months.
That's true. You probably should not do that during the summer months. But do you have a bench where you go in, you sit down and start talking to students as you change your shoes and your cardigan sweater?
No, I already have those on by the time I get there.
Right.
But I do try to talk to them in such a way where they'll feel inspired. I'm not allowed to talk about my book at my school job, but some of my colleagues know about it, and I have had some students' parents buy my book without me ever having mentioned it to them.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
it's not, well, people always tend to Google people's names so they can easily find it if you Google my name.
Now you know they're keeping an eye on you.
As long as it's this kind of an eye regarding my book and what the good things I'm trying to do, then I don't mind that.
What a great uplifting thing to offer to people and stuff. What are some things that Catholics are maybe challenged by that they need to kind of put a positive spin on these days? Are there some negative things that are happening to them, or is there what are some of the issues that you see sometimes people coming to you with?
I often hear a lot about things involving things that we've heard in the news in recent years regarding clergy, and that let's just say I don't condone those things, but I try to talk to people in such a way where they'll try to hopefully understand. And I just want to say I love the Catholic Church. It's not perfect. It's also filled with human beings who tend to get tempted and have flaws. Why, Jesus has emphasized that we need to try to resist temptations. When Moses received the 10 Commandments from God on Mount Sinai in the book of Exodus, the 10 Commandments, these are things that we need to follow, and Catholics will always be tempted. Human beings will always be tempted. So that's why for people like myself who try to really pay a lot of attention to daily mass readings. I even try to attend daily mass when I can and really listen to a lot of preaching where you're listening and it doesn't go in one ear and out the other. Then it's much easier to resist temptations. But yes, like you were saying, I do hear some of the complaints that people make regarding Catholicism or just things regarding church in general. And I try to reach these people in a way where that has to do with love rather than clashing back and forth.
Oh, I love that. Maybe we should all start discussing things that involve more love instead of just arguments and bitterness and negativity and anger and whatever else is going on this week.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So you've been working on this YouTube channel for 6 years. Did you do that first and then you decided to launch the book out of it?
Yes, I did. When I started the YouTube channel, this was around, I think, April or June. It was during the pandemic. At first, it started off as just a hobby. And obviously back then, I wasn't expecting things to be the way they are now. I've grown the channel right now. As of this video, I have 865 subscribers. And I just launched the book last year through this amazing publishers, Red Rock Book Writers, who I've been working with. And ever since I've launched the book, this is the second time I've done an appearance on a podcast this year. And I'm also going to be on one on Wednesday, as I talked to you about beforehand. I feel that things have been moving in my life and what I'm trying to do in a very positive direction. And I feel very blessed, and I hope to continue to have experiences like on your show right now, Chris.
Hopefully you will. It's an interesting world out there of podcasts, and hopefully you'll find really good people out there, really good podcasters, really good hosts who know what they're doing. Now, on the book, you include a foreword by Cy Kellett. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, though. Is that right?
You got it.
All right, cool. Who is he, and how important was it to get that forward?
He's a very dear friend of mine. He's the host of Catholic Answers Live. I told you about Catholic Answers a little while ago. They're a media ministry. They also are on Catholic radio stations, and they're also on Facebook and YouTube. I've known Cy for about 9 years now. He's a very dear friend, and I wanted to hopefully get a foreword from someone on the Catholic Answers staff. And he's just such a great guy, and he's also written some Catholic books himself. And I just felt like it was important to get an endorsement from someone who is well known in the Catholic world.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one then. You got the good endorsement there. Fun is fun. Let's see here. Anything more we need to know about your book and your YouTube channel before we go out? Some questions maybe I should have asked you.
My book is available on all major platforms, Amazon, as well as Barnes & Noble. If you try to Google my name, George Goodsaid, or Google Catholic Positive Energy, then you'll definitely find those out there, as well as on my website, georgegoodsaid.com. It's available on Kindle, Audible, as well as paperback and hardcover.
All right. Thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it, George. Wonderful stuff you have got going on there.
Great to be here, Chris. I've loved every minute of it.
Thank you. And be sure to pick up George's book. You can get it wherever fine books are sold. There'll be a link for it on the Chris Voss Show, Catholic Positive Energy by George Goodsaid, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out his YouTube channel as well. Thanks to my for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.